8.4 quiz, but we have a mix of 8.3s and 8.2s because it's January after all, and things happen, and some people don't like to come to school that much, especially people that live in Ben Hills. It's tough. Ben Hills is tough to do school every day there. People aren't used to that there. It rained too this week. I'm surprised they didn't close there.
Cancel.
There's still Friday.
There's still Friday. They still may have to shut that down.
Might be too warm tomorrow.
But 8.4 stuff. Number one is percent composition, and the math today. There's one that's like a little weird, but some of the math is like pretty basic. It's reminiscent of 7th grade math, just finding percentages out of situation. 2, everybody's quiz has this question, and then you go on a roll. I think this is dimensional analysis. So depending on which quiz you're grading, the next few in a row should be the same for everybody because dimensional analysis is made it every day. How we figure out these masses, we look for the phrase for each element. We look for multiplication. We look for the word mass, and we look for the word AMUs in that multiplication. We look for number of atoms, and we look for subscript in the other half of that multiplication, and then you look for the phrase, add them all up. And what I've been doing lately is if you're short like a phrase or a word or two, I go half, and if you're short like 3 or more of that, then that's just a shutout. So again, we're looking for each element, we're looking for mass, linked to AMUs, we're looking for number of atoms, linked to subscripts, we're multiplying those two things I got done describing, and we add them all up. 4, molecular masses for compounds that are molecules, and that's covalent bonds. Formula mass compounds are formula units. Those are ionic bonds. And then if you have an A2 quiz, the first 5 answers were mole, Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, molar mass, and that was that. If you're on an A3 quiz, we keep working. So for mole, yesterday I was a little bit generous on mole for the 8.3 people, so be a little nice to them. 8.4, we'd be a little meaner. But it should start with the word amount, and I think I lived without that yesterday. It is an amount. A mole is an amount. It contains the same number of, and then we do a list of 4. It could contain the same number of atoms or molecules or formula units or ions as atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12. So we need to name atoms again. Atoms is part of the list of 4, but atoms is part of the carbon counting game that created the number. So somebody counted the atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12, and that's part of this. But then we could have the same count on atoms, formula units, molecules, ions. You have that amount, you have them all. Avogadro's number is on there. That's 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. 11 on today's, 15 on the old one. Just use the words, basically, and get the number 1 in there, and we're all right. It's the mass in grams of 1 mole for molar mass. The how is it related question, it's the same number, but with grams instead of AMUs. And then if you're grading an A3 quiz, 1 was standard temperature and pressure, 0 Celsius, or 273 Kelvin. 760 millimeters mercury, or 764 molar volume, and 22.4. If you're grading it today, STP, you had to say all of that stuff I just said. So we'd spell out with words standard temperature and pressure for 1 point. We would do 0 degrees Celsius for half a point. Its friend, 273 Kelvin for the other half a point. Technically, I'm not going to take off yet on this, but the degree sign should be there on Celsius. Degree sign is not there on Kelvin, but I'm not going to dock people on that yet. The pressure thing, put 760 millimeters mercury and put 760 torr, half a point apiece on that. 16 key number was 22.4 liters. 22.4 liters occupied by 1 mole of a gas at STP. If they forget the STP, I'd go half on that. That does matter. When you change temperatures and pressures, you change the volumes as well, and that's a problem for another day. Physics, we did like a lot of those equations. That'll come back around us in here as well. But 22.4 liters occupied by 1 mole of gas at STP is the name of the game on that. Question about scoring any of those quizzes, A4, A3, A2. people that are down, try to double up as soon as you can so we can get back to all the same place at all the same time, because you'll never catch up one quiz a day. Oh, okay. Question on any of that? Okay. Tomorrow, what we're working is from 20 to 23 for homework. I'm going to do 20A, I'm going to do 21A, I'm going to do an example that's like number 22, and I'm going to do 23A in just a minute. 8.5 is the last read of the chapter. So for tomorrow, final read of the chapter into 8.5. There are 2 new points, and they're pretty obvious. So 2 new points on 8.5. Everything today from 2 down stays the same. Question number 1 stays the same. So if you are down a quiz, doing 8.4 and 8.5 in the same quiz is pretty easy money because it's almost a duplication. The only other thing on the 8.5 quiz, since the chapter ended, there's a box about copper. So find the box about copper, know a couple things about copper, you'll need a couple points about copper from the box. Question about that description of what's going on with those? If you weren't here yesterday, I drew a pretty nice helpful map that I don't feel like drawing again right now, but just watch the video in terms of how you get from one thing to another in this chapter. Basically everything ran through who? Moles. Everything runs through moles. So if you don't know what to find moles. That's a position of strength generally. Here's today's stuff. So 20, I'm in the book page, I'm on 209. There's a 20A says, find the percentage composition of the following compounds. NaCl. So this is not even really a chemistry question. This is like a, did you learn math in middle school kind of question with a tiny bit of chemistry. So we need a number for sodium. That's a tiny bit of chemistry. How are we going to get a number for sodium?
The
Periodic table.
58.5.
I don't think so. Not for just Na.
23.
Oh.
I think a 0.1. Is Na
Oh,
23
just
point?
for
It's 22.98.
Okay, so it's 23 even.
I thought you meant together.
Yeah, chlorine. It's
Oh.
like 35 and some change.
35.5.
Yeah, so 35.5.
35.5 on that. So we need a sodium number, we need a chlorine number. So if we're going to figure out a sodium percentage, we need a sodium number. And if we're going to figure out a chlorine percentage, we need a chlorine number. So we need those numbers individually. But when you figure out percentages, how do you figure out percentages of like anything, whether it's your score or we
100.
divide? Ultimately, it's counted out of 100, but you divide by the total there, which now that's your
The 58.5.
58.5. The total mass we have between the NAs and the CLs, if we add those together, is 58.5. So we need to divide NA's total by the total total. Chlorine divides by the total total. Use our machinery, 23 divided by that. It's probably just shy of 40%. Somebody with some buttons pushing for me.
39.3%.
Okay. Because we're going to divide and then you just shove the decimal over 2 spots. So this has to be the other stuff. If that's under 40, this has to be just over 60. Does it round 60.7%?
Yes.
Okay. So I felt confident was going to do that. I didn't necessarily trust the rounding all the time. But how can you do a quick check and know that this is a reasonable thing?
Add to 100.
It adds up to 100%. Question about 20A. 21 gets easier. So 21, we don't need the table. They want us to calculate the percentage of metal, and they just give us the numbers. So we're going to work through a fraction zone to get to a percentage. How much metal did they give you?
550 grams.
550? What's the total?
So
Point,
0.550,
so
you're right.
0.550? What's the total?
0.950? Is that right?
If you added them together, do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So do the metal total on top of the total total. And just change that into percent. That's a little more than half. So, and it touched the 60s, not quite, 50 something.
57.9%.
So as I said before I started, the beginning part of this homework isn't even like chemistry. It's just like 7th grade, middle school-ish. Have a situation, make a fraction so you can get to a percentage. The only way this was chemistry was that this one you had to get a couple numbers from the table. Then it turns into chemistry halfway through. Question about those first two. Okay, I'm going to cut down to 23A. So 23A is definitely chemistry. So it says we have 28.0 grams of cadmium sulfide. So I'll spot you at 28.0 grams, but I'm going to make you continue to practice your ability to write what the formula is for things like cadmium sulfide. So what's cadmium first of all?
CD.
CD. What's sulfide based on? Sulfur, which is S. And then it's a question of whether those charges are friendly or whether we need some subscripts applied. How are we going to verify that?
Sure.
Chart, table. So CD compared to S, how does the column match up?
CD is 2 plus.
CD is 2.
And then sulfur is also.
Sulfur is also 2. So we got lucky there. So if you forgot to do that on that problem, you'd have gotten away with it. Question about writing the name, turning the name into a chemistry column. So then what they want us to trade out is the grams of cadmium sulfide for grams of probably one of those individuals, which you're closer to the book than me now. Cadmium is what they're hunting. So grams of CDS is out, grams of CD is coming in. Question about the logic so far? Then we just need numbers. How are we going to get a gram cadmium number?
Okay, table.
Okay, and I have no idea what cadmium is. Not a clue.
112.4.
112.4. We don't use a lot of cadmium in here, but I'll take your word for that. Like I said, I don't have a clue. Sulfur, I think, is like 32.1. So I need this same number, but plus 32.1. And push the magic button. It's going to come up shy of the 28 because top is smaller than bottom. Not by much, so I would guess
21.7.
Oh, I was gonna get
Oh, sorry.
21.
You're gonna let them have
what?
some fun.
0.78.
Okay, so we'll go 21.8 grams cadmium. I was gonna guess probably 23. It wasn't gonna be that great.
Close enough.
Not
Closer
bad.
than I would have got.
Not bad.
With your other teacher, it's
Yeah,
close
it's
enough.
close enough. In science, what we do if we're off, we just subtract 1.2. That's how we work it out. Then there's a weird problem that's one of a kind. So I can't do one from the homework because there is one in the homework. So we're going to have to flip back if you want to follow me to page 199. Example 823 does this. It says you have a crude sample. A crude sample doesn't mean it's like a cartoon that's going to swear at you or something and say bad words. Crude just means there's some muck there. You're not in the lab, you're out in the field. In the lab, your stuff is all pure substances. But out in the world, if you're gathering samples of things, there's the thing you wanted to gather, and then there's going to be like rocks and mud and whatever, dirt, dust, snails, I don't know, whatever you find. So they gather this crude sample of zinc sulfide, and it has a total mass of 8, including the mess. It has 5 grams of zinc sulfide and 3 grams of impurities that don't have any zinc in them, and we're trying to run zinc math. So you do about what we were doing at the beginning. Think fraction form. We'd want to do the total amount of stuff on the bottom. That's the 8 grams of crude stuff. We'd want to do what we're counting on the top, which was 5 grams. Was it zinc?
Yeah.
Zinc sulfide. Okay, so we have to write a formula. So zinc is Zn, sulfide is again S. But in terms of subscripts, are Zn and S friendly? Please be a 2. Please be a 2. Those ZNS we're good with. We don't want to be answering questions about ZNS. We want to be answering a question about
Yeah.
ZN solo artists. So I'm going to set up the dimensional analysis like so, and then we'll get some numbers and let it rip. If they do this crude stuff, the crude is the total, do that on the bottom like we did every other problem with bottoms. The thing we cared a little bit about, do on the top. But we only cared about this because it had zinc in it. Question there? You think that thinks in the 50s?
65.4.
65 what? 0.4. Sulfur, we just need to add on another
32.1.
32.1. That to be math. We're going to come out with grams of zinc. And not much. That's under 1. So those are both proper fractions. I don't know, like a 0.4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0.419.
All right. See, that was more fun. Something about that, life. So this homework's not bad. By far the worst homework was that 5 to 15. That was long. That was why I gave you that bonus day on that one. The 16 to 19 wasn't too bad, but it did have that chapter quiz. So if you have that, I'll want to see it before you flee the scene here today of the building or the classroom. Again, tonight it's 20 to 23. 20 is those, 21 is those, 22 is one like this, 23 is a couple more like that. That shouldn't be too bad. Question about any of that business?
So just 20 to 23.
Just 20 to 23. Is there any like that one? No, there's not even any of that one like ABCD stuff. The 16 to 19 had quiz 8A and it had a 1 D&E. The 5 to 15 had a 1 ABC. Yeah, today's just flat out 20, 23.